Hello and welcome back, YouTubers. Today I'm going to be talking about the spare parts PC build with a value of under $500. This is a complete build, not a tutorial, of a PC that is just spare parts over the years I've collected that can literally play most AAA games today in ultra settings with very minimal investment. It's pretty amazing. Today's video was not sponsored by Seasonic here. They did send me over a PSU to look at though, and wanted me to build it into my PC. So this is the only component that I really didn't pay any cash for, but I would have had to go out and acquire some type of power supply. This is an 850 watt gold rated PSU. They're an up and coming one. This is the Focus one. You can see exactly what I'm doing with it, the unboxing experience here. It's pretty nice PSU. It powers the PC. Without a PSU, you can't have your PC powered on. So really important core feature. You really want to spend a good amount of cash on your PSUs. You want to make sure that they're at least bronze rated, if not gold. But this one was gold. It has a hybrid mode where you can get fanless, silent mode where the fan is spinning but it's very low, and then cooling where if your PSU is very hot, it'll cool it. You can see a Focus Plus gold, there you go, and it's fully modular, so that's a big plus. Fully modular means that it does not have cords consistently connected. You can plug and unplug whatever cords you don't need, which helps you with tying up. So there's the top, there's all the information. There you go, Focus and Seasonic PSU supplier. Now we have a Windforce 780 GTX. This is a really nice card that's going to be put into this build. You can see here, first time testing it, took me about 3 hours to piece it together, and I was going incredibly slow. I loaded up Windows 10 on it. This is Windows 10 64-bit. Now, I have to tell you, I have yet to activate it yet. There's an activation code that's being sent to me right now. It has not arrived yet. I also ordered a physical disk for this. So this is just the basic installer and just to get us started, but I do not advocate piracy. So here we are, a fully built PC within 3 hours. This includes keyboard, mouse, a monitor, just basic components. Again, this is a spare parts build. It's nothing special, and yet it still looks very nice. It works very well, and as you can see, this is my basement and the table and the building station. It's not pretty, it's not beautiful, but these are the games that we are going to end up testing down here in this basement. So, without further ado, I suppose we should jump right into some Doom, ladies and gentlemen. Doom is one of my most favorite games. With that said, there is a clear indication of stress on this card. As you can see, it's going up and down between 30 and 50 frames, and 60 frames at times as well. So it's really nice when you can get 60 frames a second. You can see that there's certain level sections where you're consistently getting 60 FPS, and this is at 1080p. This is on max settings possible. This isn't 4K, this is just 1080p, so max settings plus 1080p resolution. Now, on the Xbox One and PS4 side of things, this is a console comparison, and obviously the Nintendo Switch as well. You're not going to get the same experience as the PC here. Even at 30 frames, I would say that this experience is superior, just due to the simple fact that you're not dealing with resolution scaling on the console sides. On the console sides, you're struggling to maintain a 1080p. On this is just scaling down the frames in exchange for holding that 1080p resolution. So there's trade-offs. Again, I could customize the settings, lower the resolution if I wanted to get 60 FPS at a constant resolution, or I could lower the settings to make the game just look a little less pretty and get 60 FPS constantly. Some people like that trade-off, other people don't. So this was just an initial run for several hours for testing it. Next up, we have Ducktails, a simple platformer, but all the same, it's important. If you see in the bottom right-hand corner, you can see the frames on each one of these games I test. Whenever it's red, it lines up as being recorded, and it will drop the frames heavily because of the CPU that is put into the system. It is an Intel 870, and while platformers don't exactly challenge this, you can see that it's maintaining consistent 60 FPS with an Intel 870. The GPU is not really being used or stressed heavily here. As I said, it was a 780. So again, a pretty decent run for a sub-parted out PC. This is spare parts. We have Elder Scrolls 5 coming up. Again, this is just installed on a basic 7200 RPM hard drive with an SSD for the operating system itself. We have 8 gigabytes of RAM running this game. Again, this game focuses a little bit more on the GPU and the CPU combination rather than the previous aforementioned Ducktails, but all the same, it's running at 60 FPS constant. This game is quite old, so this isn't a surprise for me. It would actually have been a shock if the game was not running at a constant 60 FPS because of its age. But I am testing games throughout the years. You can see various releases, various time periods, kicking it off with Doom, a very recent game, and it does run that game just fine, as well as this one. So if you're really interested in a 60 FPS kind of Skyrim experience, a sub-parted out PC, a spare part PC like this, will get you that, and this is again under $500. So you could probably get a better PC than what you're seeing right here, and you would still get a way better experience. So you're seeing it 1080p 60 FPS and the possibility of getting an even better experience. Pretty solid. So that does raise the question, should you be buying these top tier high-end consoles for $500 when you can do this with a PC? Moving on, we have Grand Theft Auto 5, a fan favorite. A lot of people like to play this and benchmark this, so I decided to bring up the graphical settings so you know I'm not messing with you. I'm not screwing around here. This is pretty nice that I'm able to leave everything on high. I've left it on the defaults. Most things are maxed out on this again. So, you know, when you deal with PC, you do have to deal with the subjectivity on what you would consider maxed out. Again, this is not a 4K monitor, so I can't really max it out at 4K. What you're seeing here is footage that is taken live, recorded, because if I were to use Fraps to record it at the time, unfortunately, it would drop the frame rate quite a bit. And so I'm using the phone just to show you directly that there is no messing about, there's no screwing around, I'm not inserting footage from something else. This is literally my phone's camera recording this at the resolution that it is being played at, and it handles Grand Theft Auto 5 quite well. Again, this is a game that is extremely well optimized for the PC market. So after their colossal failure with GTA 4, it's not necessarily a surprise that they really went all out optimizing this. I played in the open world, a sandboxy portion of this where there wasn't a lot of people. I played in the more crowded sections of town. I played with density up, I used explosions, and the only thing that seemed to drop the frame rate quite a bit was when I was using explosions or when there was a police chase and there were quite a few police after me. It's whenever there's an extreme amount of something going on. Extreme fire, extreme explosions, something major, massive going on. You can see I'm driving by water, so we have water physics, we have open world physics. The draw distance is pretty high. There's little pop-in. Regardless to being in first person or third person, the game seems to be locked in at 60 FPS about 95% of the time. You get a low of around maybe 40 frames when the explosions hit, and that's only for a couple seconds. So yeah, it really does depend on you what you want. Next up, I decided to test Rise of the Tomb Raider, a game I got free from the Humble Bundle. I wouldn't say it was free. I signed up for Humble monthly, and I did get it in a monthly bundle, but I did not buy this outright directly because I knew it would eventually be free. So there you go. This game is beautiful, gorgeous, absolute monster of a game to try and render on older cards, though. So it worked out really good because this is a constant 60 FPS. I decided to do the intro levels because we have a lot of snow physics to deal with, and I did decide to, again, try to leave everything maxed as possible. No 4K support, once again, just as a reminder. So to be maxed out, that would be 1920 by 1080. That would be 1080p full resolution here. Very beautiful game, and it still worked out great. No frame drops, even when stuff was getting really crazy. It's interesting to see how developers, and depending on how the game goes, how it handles frame rate and resolutions. Moving on to Rocket League, we saw that we had pretty decent settings right out the box, but I did have to increase some once again. For whatever reason, I don't know why, it wasn't maxed out, but it was default on performance, so that's fine. I decided to kick it up and just see, maybe I would lose frames here, maybe they would drop here, but no, I was surprised to see that it maintained a full 60 constantly. Though this game is not that difficult to run, I would like to remind you that I did attempt to run this game on a old dual core from 2009-ish, and I did have a 92M graphics processor, again another Nvidia chip, and it could not run this. So despite this game being easily ran, it's not that easily ran, if you get what I'm saying. Again, that was an extremely old computer, but for the time it was a pretty decent and a nicely ranked computer to use on the go as a gamer. So this game ran very well. Again, 60 FPS, did not see a single dip for a game, so that's a thumbs up in my book with 4 competitors. Now, finally moving on, we had some Undertale, ladies and gentlemen. Not exactly a game that a lot of people benchmark, but I did want to benchmark this one because if you look in the bottom right hand corner where I have my fraps counter going, 22, 23 frames. Now, for RPGs, this isn't a big deal because, you know, it's pretty turn-based, so not really lightning fast action going on. Very strange, though, that it's still very low frames. It did not deter the experience, and I want to tell you, it felt like I was playing this once more on any other computer and any other system. Here's the system specs if you'd like to see the CPU, the graphics card, just to know the heat output. I tried out YouTube as well, so here's one of my videos if you missed it. This is my kind of review and theory on Call of Duty. And then I decided to fire up some 4K Battlefront footage. So this handled 4K footage very well. And this is at 60 FPS from YouTube settings, which again, no stutter, no problems, again with the 780. And then I decided to browse over on IGN, see if there were any stories worth looking at. So this does handle internet browsing as well very well. I checked out my Twitter and everything seems to have loaded in great. This is all from around a $13 Wi-Fi card. So again, not the top tier components, but they work really great and really fast. So there you go. That's the sub-parted out spare part PC under $500, and you could get each and every bit of these parts and throw them together and you would have a comparable PC. That would be, again, an Intel 870, 780 Nvidia GTX 780, DH55TC motherboard, and, you know, the case, the hard drives, everything else is up to you.